And it's Kaylin. Hopefully, I have you join me in promoting the nonfiction revolution in libraries after I get done talking about this hot topic blog. So, let's face it, nonfiction is a genre that doesn't get enough credit for its brilliancy of portraying the truth among our young adult readers. Not all nonfiction is boring, and we need to relay that message to our students. So, as we encountered some very interesting nonfiction novels this semester, if well written, it can be described as creative, fluid, and just simply beautiful. So you might be wondering what the challenge is for librarians in public schools if this genre is so well written. Well, we need to hook our students in believing that nonfiction can be just as adventurous as fiction. Sometimes they just don't know it because they've never been taught it. So, in my Hot Topic blog, when you read, I'm not going to get too much into it because I want to get into some other aspects. But young children in elementary schools, they come home with nonfiction material all the time. For example, my son is in second grade, and all he brings home is nonfiction books about animals, and he's obsessed with space. But by the time we get them in middle school, where I work, it's kind of a lost thing. They don't ever check out any nonfiction material. It's always fiction. So we have to make sure as librarians we teach them about the different materials and novels in nonfiction. It's not all just like a textbook-based read. There's so many great stories out there that students can take, relate to, and just find extremely interesting. So when young adult readers begin to realize there's just as much creativity that goes into writing nonfiction as there is in fiction, they will start to truly appreciate it. Let's take memoirs, for instance. It takes dedication and skill to compress one's life into a few hundred pages. It requires craft and patience while being completely truthful. Many authors, I feel, especially when they talk about their experiences writing their memoirs, they're terrified and scared to let the truth out, but they want to impact people's lives, and this is why they do it. And today's generation, they need to hear about it. They need to hear about the past, and they need to learn from it. As librarians, we need to share our knowledge with our young adult readers. We need to get them genrefied in nonfiction novels. Since young adult memoirs are emerging in young adult nonfiction, there aren't many resources available. And even if they are, I feel like our young adult readers do not know how to access them, and that's where we come in. So, seeking these books might be difficult. So, like I said, this is where we come in, and this is where we put our superhero capes on to save the day. So, when I was researching on YALSA's website, it's a great resource to show young adult readers where they can find some great memoirs and nonfiction literature. So, in the Hot Topic blog, I give you some examples of some memoirs. Please read through them because I've read some of them and they're truly magnificent. And I really, truly believe that some of your students, if not all, will relate to at least one of those memoirs. So how do we get students to read these? Because you can tell them or show them the book, but that doesn't necessarily that they're going to pick them up. So to grasp the attention of our young adult readers, we have to provide nonfiction that relates to both genders, male and female. It is extremely, extremely important that we do that. As librarians, we must treat everyone equal, and we have to provide materials that all of our students and all the community will relate to. So, like myself in the school I work in, we have a high percentage of ELL learners. So it's a good idea to provide nonfiction books, maybe in their home language at first. Nonfiction books written in students' native languages can support English learners as they transition from their first language to the second. So, how do we promote this nonfiction in our libraries and the classrooms? Well, let me start by saying that the role of the librarian is an essential one when it comes to promoting nonfiction novels. It truly, truly starts with our influence. It's important for librarians to ask ourselves, can we not get pleasure from reading good quality informational books? And I think once we answer this question, and I provided another one in the Hot Topic blog, we can then truly start enriching our libraries with nonfiction texts that will spark interest with our young adult readers. So, in my Hot Topic blog, I give you some suggestions that you can use within your classroom or library to promote these books. Read alouds. You can read the book to the class, show them the pictures, get them interested. My favorite is Reader's Theater. I love it. An engaging way of introducing students to books. Nonfiction readers, theater scripts, also breathe life into the content areas. You can share this book in math, science, history, ELA. It's a beautiful way to get students hooked. The famous book talk. We can briefly summarize or read aloud the particularly interesting portions of a book to spark interest in the selection. And one that I haven't tried and that I researched, I put on the Hot Topics blog, and I want to, it's called Guess the Fib. So in this strategy, pairs of students read a nonfiction book and create 3 statements about the book. 2 true statements and 1 untrue. So when they share, the students hold up the book, tell the title and the author, and then read their 3 statements. The classmates attempt to guess which statement is the fib. Student statements frequently focus on the extraordinary aspects of the book, which can help to develop student interest in the book. So, from the research and from my own experience in the library, I can conclude that when young adult readers continue to read nonfiction texts, the experience offers great benefits for their future in education. Classroom libraries have the potential to increase student access to nonfiction books and to stimulate their desire to read. We just have to introduce them to the interesting titles in this particular genre, because they don't know. Classroom libraries overflow with quality nonfiction titles, enable students to spend more time reading rather than completing activities related to reading, which is critical to the goal of creating successful readers. So, my question is to you, are you ready to join the nonfiction revolution? If you are, start today and get your students introduced to some of the most influential nonfiction novels. And if you aren't in the library just yet, try it in your content areas. And if you're not teaching yet at all, research some of the strategies so when you go into your interview, you can blow the administration away with your ideas to incorporate nonfiction text. So I appreciate your time and thank you for listening, and I hope you all learned something. All right, thanks. Bye.